Hello there, people in the computer screen. If this is the first time you've watched me on the internet, my name is Clint Adams. I run 3 companies in South Australia, and today I'm going to open a box of Pokemon Shining Fates. If you've seen some of the other videos, I've been opening these from time to time. I bought 20 boxes because a friend of mine suggested I buy some. Bit of fun. Open them up, see what I get. See if I can pull a Charizard. I haven't had a lot of luck. This is my 12th box now. So I basically film me opening the packs because I want to, I guess, make sure that ultimately I can show Rob if I pull a Charizard. And then, hey, if you guys enjoy watching it, then that's great too. So, while I'm doing this, I might talk a little bit about what I do and where it all kind of started. So, I am 38 years old now. I was born in South Australia. Haven't left South Australia except for a 12-month stint in Japan. I lived in Japan for 12 months as an exchange student when I was 17. When I came back, I redid year 11, so SACE Stage 2. I don't know what that equates to in the US, but second to last year of school before going to college or university. Because I had left and come back, my year 12 in Japan did not count. That was crap. My year 11 in Japan did not count, so I had to redo that year of study here. So all of my friends had moved up a year. And I had to stay down and do year 11 again, and then they all went to university, and then I moved into year 12. So it was a bit of a disruptive time for me. I guess I don't have any regrets around going. I probably should have concentrated a bit better over there, and I think if I had been more conscious around the flow-on effect, I would have probably studied better in Japan and come back and gone into year 12 with my friends. Growing up, the idea was that I was going to become a lawyer. I don't know, I kind of had seen lawyers on the internet making money and arguing or defending their clients. So I thought that looked kind of cool. I thought, that'd be something I could do. And then I was doing pretty well at school. I always managed to get A's and B's, and then I came back, did year 11, like I said, went into year 12. During year 12, or basically I think it was during year 11, I started working for Domino's Pizza. So Domino's Pizza is obviously a pizza franchise. I don't need to explain that. You guys know what Domino's Pizza is. And I was working there as the... Oh, that's interesting. I haven't got that card. So I was working at Domino's as a delivery driver. So this is before Uber Eats. Obviously, Domino's still have their own drivers, and I would deliver pizzas. So I'd go to school and then I'd go work there. I'd worked a few jobs before that. I worked at Woolworths in fruit and veg. I worked at Tropicana, which was a privately owned family business. So I worked at Domino's, and I had school wasn't really working. It wasn't because I didn't have the education level. I just kind of wasn't really deep into it. I just wasn't putting it all in. I managed to kind of cruise through school pretty easily. I never had any problem understanding maths and physics. English I wasn't great at, but how many was that for? 4. I don't think I think I did a very good job at that one. I'll put that back there. Yeah, so I did okay. But I wasn't going to be, I don't know, I wasn't concentrating enough. I didn't really care about going to uni anymore. So the owner of the Domino's that I was working for asked me if I was interested in managing the store. And so 13 weeks off the end of year 12, I resigned. I left school, spoke to the year 12 coordinator, spoke to the principal. I had good relationships with both of those two because I was the year 12 SRC chair, I think. What? Holy shit. So I bought 10 boxes from EA Sports, I don't fucking know. I bought 10 boxes. This is my second box. In the first box, third pack, I pulled a Charizard. This is the second box, third pack. 1, 2, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Third pack, another Charizard. This is ridiculous. If I can do that for every box, then it was definitely a good investment. Holy shit, another one. Oh, Rob. I gotta let Rob know. So that's 2 Charizards. We are off to a cracker. I think I might spend the rest of the day doing this. I'm meant to be working. So that's another Charizard. I'll just put that over there. So basically, I had relationships with them because I actually represented the student body at with the teachers. Yeah, so like I said, I had existing relationships with the teachers, so they were a bit pissed off. They couldn't understand why I was leaving, and I couldn't really understand why I wanted to stay. So I left, and I went to manage a Domino's pizza franchise, and I think at the time, a lot of people around me didn't understand. My parents didn't understand. I was getting paid $26,000 a year. I was working 50 hours, 60 hours a week. And I was making and selling pizzas. Now, at the time, that probably didn't make sense to a lot of people. And then, in hindsight, people probably look at it now and go, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense now. He learned a lot. So I learned a lot of core foundational things that I needed around business, around customer service, around answering phones quick, around managing young people. I was a 17, 18-year-old managing 15, 16-year-olds. And that's hard, they don't give a shit. They're getting paid $8.40 an hour or something to make pizzas. Like, it's really hard for them to be deeply focused on the task at hand. So I did that, and I did that well. We were the lowest turnover store in the country. There was 511 Domino's franchises, roughly, and I'm probably wrong, but in the 500s. And we were number 511 as far as turnover goes, so they ranked them all, and I managed to still make profits. We were doing about $11,000 a week, or $10,000 a week. No, was that right? Yeah. So big stores like Caboolture, in Queensland, we're doing 25 grand a week. We were doing like 10, but I still managed to make money for the owner. So that was cool. So I did that for a while. And then at a point, one of my friends was working at Newton's Sand and Metal at the time. And he rang me and he said, hey dude, what are you doing? I'm like, yep, making pizzas. He's like, you want to come and work at Newton's Sand and Metal? And you could be an irrigation stock assistant. And I'm like, all right, sweet. What do I do? And he's like, you sweep the floor, you put fittings away, and you don't pull a Charizard. And you're just the lowest rung on the ladder. You just do all the shit that needs to be done. And I'm like, all right, what's that worth? And I think it was, at the time, $33,000 a year. So I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to get paid more money. When do I work? And they're like, Monday to Friday, 7 till 3. If you work a Saturday, you get paid overtime. I'm like, yep. And I don't have to clean up any food. Nope, no food. Yep, that sounds really good. Let's do it. So I took that job and climbed the ranks there slowly, and not slowly actually. I did pretty well. I think I was a good employee. And then it got to a point where my former business partner and I decided that we were going to leave. He probably wanted to leave more than I did. Well, I wasn't completely unhappy, but I think I wanted to earn more money. So we left and we started a company. It wasn't a company, it was a partnership, and the business name was Fluid Designs. And we were going to take over the world of water features. So there's a company over here called Water Motion Energy, who are a water feature construction manufacturing company. And we're like, yeah, we could do that. I know how to make water features. So we were going to start making water features, and then it didn't really work out. So we won one water feature for a guy called Nick who lived in Rostrevor, and he paid us $2,200 to build this water feature, which we probably should have charged $5 or $6 for, due to our lack of knowledge around how to do a water feature. We didn't use the right waterproofing. If anyone from Gripset's watching, you're going to laugh when I tell you this story. We used C1P, which is a black... I accidentally just dragged it through. We used this C1P, which is a black... That's a cool card. A black waterproofing product that you're not meant to stick tiles to, and then we stuck our tiles to the water feature. We had these really nice stone tiles. I'll probably be able to get a photo of it and cut it in here if this goes live. And the stone fell off the wall, and it just kept falling off the wall when it got hot. And so we were unable to finish the water feature, and then we were unable to get finish any water features. And in fact, Fluid Designs never completed a paid water feature, which is really sad. So then we were like, oh shit, we need money. So what are we going to do? All right, we'll start installing lawn and irrigation. We know how to do that. That makes sense to us. Clint used to work in the irrigation shop. Michael used to sell sand and metal. You understand how it all works. You guys are both smart cats. We actually met when we were working at Domino's together. Michael, who was my business partner then, taught me how to deliver pizzas, which is quite funny. And then over the next 7 years, we owned a business. So we did that. 1, 2, 3. Fluid Designs did pretty well. We got to the point where we had some staff. We were getting referrals from Paul Munn at Brighton. They have a system down there where you can pay them monthly if you're a landscaper. At the time, we were paying $440 for a half share. They had basically 5 shares, I think. So you'd pay them $440. It was $880 for a full share, which was a lot of money for us at the time. And then if people came in and said, hey, I want someone to put some lawn in for me, they would send us the referral, and then we'd go out and quote the job. And then if we won the job, we'd buy the lawn from them. And then we would go install the lawn. So we did that for a while. That was kind of lucrative enough. And at the time we were buying irrigation from 2 irrigation shops here in South Australia, and for various reasons we weren't overly happy with, I guess, how we were going. One of them was, I guess, just didn't provide the service that we were looking for, that we were used to. Obviously, I'd run an irrigation shop prior, and the other one was a company who, in our experience, had a bad habit of quoting you a price, and then when you check your invoices, the price is dramatically different to what you were quoted on. And it was just a continuous battle to try and have to keep reviewing invoices with this company because you couldn't trust that it was just safe. So our mission or our vision or our dream or whatever you want to use was to basically build an irrigation shop that offered a very high level of service. It was very customer focused, but also was supplying irrigation materials to the trade at competitive prices that were consistent. And that's where Fluid Design started. So we opened up a little shop in Stepney at 1/36 Henry Street, Stepney. We had no money. He had a little bit of savings. I had my wife working. I think he had an okay amount of savings. I don't know. That was his personal issue, but we didn't have money as a business. So we kind of had to really bootstrap it. Celeste was working, and she was earning like $36K, I reckon. And we had a house. We were living at Gillis Plains, and I haven't seen that one before. So we had to borrow money to buy work vehicles and that. So we kind of we had the ute in the van from when we were doing the Fluid Design installation stuff. At that, we actually did some underground rainwater tanks for a while as well. That was interesting. That's another bit. We'll save that for another video. And so we did we needed to get money together, and we needed to get accounts with suppliers. So thankfully, all of the manufacturers I had a good relationship with when I was at Newton. It was a tough situation for them because they were basically having to give me an account and Michael to be able to buy irrigation materials, and in doing so they were potentially upsetting their existing clients because no one that's doing well wants any competition to come in, especially if the competition is questionably good. So we did that. We opened that, and the first. So we basically borrowed $20,000 from the ANZ. I don't know. I think we had to secure it against cash. So this is not financial advice, and I'm definitely not suggesting you do this. But we had to secure. We had to get this money. So we had $20,000. We had a $20,000 loan from ANZ. We had to secure it against cash. So we ended up having a deposit for an underground tank. We put the deposit for an underground tank in this offset account as security against this $20,000 loan. We got the loan approved, then we took the cash back out, and then we used that to continue trading. Then we bought the counter. We built the counter. We bought some computers from the recycled office shop for like $285. They were like old school computers. I don't think I've seen that one before. So yeah, we bought these computers from the recycled office shop, and we bought some secondhand shelves from Dean's Shelving, and I think we borrowed some pallet racking from a customer and paid him for that later. And we ran QuickBooks, which was the software at the time that we knew, and we just started. And the first month, well, our rent was $4,700 and our sales were $8,000. Now, anyone that knows an inventory-based business, when you sell $8,000 worth of materials, you do not make $8,000. You make $2,000 or $3,000, depending on how good you are. So we didn't make enough money to cover rent in the first month. We went out there and started chasing customers. And a lot of the customers that said they would come and support us at the time did not. So we had to find customers. We had, thankfully, support from Summit Landscaping, Mr. Chris Wake. He probably doesn't realise how much his support of my business or our business early really helped. And so Chris started buying from us straight away. And I remember they did a job called Detroit Diesel, which was about $11,950. Like it made a massive difference to us. And I still remember vividly, because I did the takeoff for this job, that it was so perfect because that's all I had to do. We had no customers. So I spent all the time that was required to get this quote done, and we won it. And it was, when it was installed, it was down to the last meter. And I still remember doing that. And this is back before we were using software for quoting, so I was using and measuring a ruler and measuring it out. So we won that, and then we kind of did, I'd have to check the numbers, but we kind of did $8,000, then we did $20,000, then we did $40,000, then we did $80,000, then we did $120,000, and we kind of climbed up and stabilized at about $250,000. Oh, maybe not that much. 120. Like we were doing about 1.2. So Fluid Designs in 2010 had to become WaterPro Proprietary Limited because we had to become a company because we were making too much money for a company to be able to not pay too much tax. You got that 47 cents in the dollar when you're earning too much money. Good problem to have. So we changed to a company, and the sales were we kind of went, I think it was like 690, 1.2, 1.8, 2.4, 2.9, and then we stuck at 2.9 again. That was a year that they built a building on the end of the street at Kent Town, and our sales stalled. And then 3.3, 3.7, 4.2, 5.4, 6. That we're chasing 7 now. So that's a real steady growth. It's interesting. Someone actually said to me at one of the barbecues, like, you know, you're kind of going pretty aggressively. And I think that people forget that we've spent 12 years building a foundation of a management and software and support. Crobat. Yeah, so we've built this. We're not going that fast. I'm actually going quite slow in the grand scheme of things. I'm just going fast compared to some people's expectations. So we changed to the company. At that point, not long after that, Michael and I decided that our values weren't in line around the way that we wanted to run companies and what we wanted to do in our personal lives long term in business. And so I bought him out. Last pack. Not long after that, the ATO came along and said, "Hey, Clint, hey, big dog, our computer modeling software has told us that you haven't paid any superannuation for your staff for your first 2 years of trading. Oh, and you're meant to put a BAS statement in once a quarter. You did that 3 times in the last 8 quarters. So we're going to have to do a little bit of an audit on you. So that started. So that was an interesting process. So I've just come out of going through the negotiation stage of buying a business, which is challenging in itself, or buying half a business. At that point, we had Jack, and I think he might have been 6 months old. Celeste and I were, I think we were living at Gillis Plains. It was a pretty stressful period, and I hadn't had an audit done on me before, and I didn't really know anyone else that had either. And so automatically your mind goes straight to, holy shit, this could be it. We could lose everything. I didn't really know what the result was going to be because I didn't know what we'd done wrong. So I guess for anyone that does get audited, my advice to you would be that the ATO is not your enemy. They have a job to do, and if you do everything properly, you will not have a problem with the ATO. I went there and sat down hat in hand and said, I don't know what happened. I don't know why we're having this situation. All I can do is tell you that I'll do whatever I can to fix it. I don't want this company to close. I don't want to have to get rid of my team. I think I had maybe 6 staff at the time, or 5 staff. I was responsible for their lives as much as mine. And you could argue that they could get another job, but that's not my vision. My view is that I needed to protect them. So they were really good. All we had to do is produce the actual BAS statements for those periods. They got looked at. The ATO said, okay, that's fine. Now you just have to pay us $140,000, which included a fine and the money that was originally meant to be paid anyway. So we did all that, and we got clear, and then it never happened again, and I've been really strict with that since. But I didn't know, and I think sometimes it's probably a little bit hard for... a lot of people don't know. It's like you'll hear people that see... a child that's maybe not being parented how they agree with what they agree with, saying, you should need a license to have children. You should definitely have a license to run a business, and there should be a lot more government requirements. And I love the freedom of it because it gives, we're so liberal and able to start a business and have a crack. But unfortunately, sometimes, and I could have been, evidence of this. Unfortunately, sometimes that means that the person who is running the business, if they're not educated in it, they can hurt people, and they don't mean to. I don't think anyone... there are some just really messed up units out there that actually don't care about other people, but most people care about people, and they don't want to hurt people. And so if they go broke, it's an accident because they're a victim of their own success, or they don't understand what they're doing, and they should maybe have some form of education and licensing around having a business before you're allowed to have a proprietary limited company, or before you're allowed to be a director. But it's not the case. So anyway, I didn't really know that we hadn't done it. I trusted that it had been done. We've since changed accountants because of that. And I think that it was a good learning curve for me. Anytime stuff like this happens, I just look at it now and go, okay, that's cool. We're going to definitely learn something from this. I negotiated a payment arrangement on that. If anyone ever needs any advice on payment arrangements with the ATO, I'm happy to talk about it one-on-one. I'm not going to talk about it on camera because I don't want to stir up any trouble for myself or give any damaging insight for either side of that. So we paid that off, set up some systems, and so once you've been paying off an ATO debt for a while, it's the last pack. It's a slippery slope because you pay off 140, and then during that period you've accumulated another 100, and then you negotiate another time frame, and then you then you pay off the 100, and then in that time frame you've accumulated 80 because you're not turning over enough money to catch up. So then you pay off the 80, and then you turn over, you got another 60, and eventually I remember saying to my accountant, is this ever going to end? I just feel like I'm always going to be in debt to the ATO, and the only reason I run my business is to pay my staff and the ATO. This can't be like this forever. It just doesn't feel right. And he was like, you are so close. You are so close. And it was 7 years or 8 years of running a business before I got some clear air because I didn't start properly, because I wasn't putting money in my in savings accounts for the future, because I didn't have a plan around how to handle my tax payments and all that. So we paid that off, got some clear air, and then it gave me the opportunity to build what I have now. So WaterPro moved from Stepney to Kent Town. WaterPro Kent Town was the only business, and then we moved into buying railways, landscape supplies, which I've now owned for nearly a year and a half. And recently we've just opened the building I'm in now, which is Dry Creek. So the businesses that I own are Lawn Hub Proprietary Limited. I think it's the Lawn Hub Proprietary Limited because some asshole got Lawn Hub Proprietary Limited during the Amgrow trying to crush Lawn Hub process. I might be wrong. It might not be an asshole, but someone owns it and I'd love to buy it. So if you are watching this, I'm happy to buy the name off of you. If you know the person, I'm happy to buy the name off of you. You can't use it now because I own the trademark. It's worthless to you unless you're like me and you're just holding it to be a dick. Then I get it. But I'd like to buy it. So Lawn Hub, then we've got Railways, Landscape Supplies Proprietary Limited. We've got Water Pro Proprietary Limited. And we've just registered a company called Dirt Cart Proprietary Limited, which is an app that's coming out very, very soon. Once it's ready, you will be very impressed by that one. So that's all of it, and that's what got me to here now. And so now I sit here and open Pokemon cards and make YouTube videos. No, that's not true. I do a lot of other stuff. So the day-to-day for me is actually probably as much hands-on as it is strategic. I'm deep in my craft and I'm working in the stores and behind the counter and helping people. I'm working with the guys to help grow them, and I'm actively trying to come up with strategies to grow the company to $100 million. My goal is to have this group of companies turn over $100 million annually in Australia, and then I'll start another goal. I'll reset, but that's the goal for now. So that's it. If you want me to dive deeper into any of those things, I'm happy to do so. I'm quite transparent around what I do. And so, yeah, if it helps you, if you want some advice around the ATO, if you want some advice around direct-to-consumer brand stuff, obviously Lawn Hub, I've made a lot of learnings in that because of trademark concerns and competing with billion-dollar global brands and stepping forward before I'm meant to and then getting a toe cut off, etc. So I've got a lot of experience, and I don't mind sharing that experience with anyone that is willing to listen, because I think that there's no need for you to feel the pain from my experiences. If I can help you shortcut, then that's great. So thanks for watching this far. If you got this far, I'm guessing it's probably just mum just watching. Hi, mum. But yeah, if you've watched this far, thank you. If you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to bring more content around my day and what I'm doing, but also any tips and ideas that I'm coming up with along the way that might help you with your business. So yeah, that is it. Have a wonderful whatever it is, and please be kind to each other. That's all that really matters.